Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at Conkeldurr in the Open Master League. And you might think again, oh, this is going to be such a video again where someone tries to play a Pokemon and has no play at all, that is just going to be there and the other Pokemon going to carry in a meta that's full of legendary Pokemon. And you're absolutely wrong with that. This Pokemon honestly was super cool and has a very unique role for this team, and we see it immediately. We have Poison Jab, which is going to be able to bait out Fairy-type Pokemon so our Palkia can sweep endgame, while still being able to realign against a lot of them because they don't expect Stone Edge. And this is basically it for this Pokemon here. We are the perfect trap basically for any Fairy-type Pokemon here, but not only this, this Pokemon actually has even more play than you might expect because there's more to it. There's definitely more to it than just being like, oh, we're trying to bait out the Fairy-type and that's basically it. For example, our lead. Very weak to Rhyperior. Our Sainsop, a Fighting-type Pokemon. In theory, really good against Rhyperior, but actually not that great against Rhyperior because we only have Brutal Swing to hit him for neutral damage, the rest is resisted, but they don't know. And that's the thing as well. You can use it basically as, basically baiting the opponent to the wrong Pokemon, but also against the Pokemon that is supposed to be good where it is not good anymore because you completely mess with the moveset. You're still going to be able to bait them out and maybe get some shields from them because they don't know your moveset. And that's a thing that I found very impressive for a Pokemon. One thing here about this as well is, the player who played this against me, I still remember, had Dynamic Punch on this Pokemon. I honestly thought that Stone Edge would make way more sense. Why? Because you have a lead that's going to be very weak against Ho-Oh. You have two Pokemon in the back, and one of them is already very good against Ho-Oh, and the other one is still very bad against it, because Poison Jab, Brutal Swing is just not really cutting it, like, just be honest with that one. And so I kind of wanted to have Stone Edge already for this reason. And then I thought, okay, so Conkeldurr is here to bait out Fairy-type Pokemon to still do a ton of damage against them with the Poison Jab Fast move, and then hopefully you win in a two-shit scenario. Exactly. So, what if I want to go for a charge move? Then you have Dynamic Punch and Brutal Swing, which is going to be resisted by every kind of Fairy-type Pokemon. What is happening against Enamoris? And that's kind of why I thought Stone Edge might be just the better play. Dynamic Punch is actually not needed here. And that's the thing as well. We will see here quite a ton of very cool games with this Pokemon. I honestly enjoyed a lot to play this team here. There was a lot of wins that I got with this team. I actually went positive with this team, by the way, as well. Like, I went way positive with this team, which is kind of hilarious because you have Conkeldurr. But you're going to see here a lot of great matchups, generally speaking, for this Pokemon. We see here the shield coming through from the Kyogre. We can still go for another Brutal Swing, which is a Community Day move, which recently got buffed as well. Since then, Counter got nerfed as well, but nobody really tried out the Conkeldurr with Brutal Swing anymore because everybody was like, yeah, okay, with Counter nerf, no real point of it. Honestly, this Pokemon is absolutely amazing. I loved playing this Pokemon for sure. Here in this battle, I kind of messed up a little bit with my alignment. I'm going to barely lose here because I'm not going to get to the Brutal Swing. The opponent's still going to be able to get to another charge move here. That's going to be a good game. But yeah, still we're going to move on to the next opponent. We're going to have here Primarina against us. That is going to be great. This is going to allow us now to, just go for the Sunsteel Strike. But actually going to go for the Dark Pulse because there's no way in hell that the opponent is going to give up their Primarina with all of the energy they just tanked. And so I'm going to swap out here to catch the move. And you might think that's a bit silly. Like, you're going to go into a Palkia against a Fairy-type Pokemon. But it was not a bad shout because at the end of the day, it was the Water-type move that we were able to catch there. We're going to still be able to go for a move against the Dialga. We sadly don't have Spatial Rent. If you have Spatial Rent on your Palkia, that would have been ideal because we would have actually been able to get rid of the Dialga here in this battle as well. We don't have it, but I have got a Shundo from a raid, and so I'm not going to go ahead and go out of my way to build a different Pokemon that is going to be lower IV just for the crack basically there, just to have the Spatial Rent. I'd rather have my Shundo build. I'm not regretting anything there, and I really hope that Niantic finally decides to give us the option to get those moves onto the Pokemon that didn't get them during the event, because it was basically guaranteed for the one ticket you chose. I just chose randomly basically because my girlfriend wanted to have the pink one. I gave her the pink one for this one, which is Palkia. I went just for Dialga. At the end of the day, Dialga would have been for me guaranteed with Roar of Time, which I got a Hundo as well, which I didn't build because I built a Shiny first, which was kind of silly, but I needed it for a video. And for Palkia, I think I got actually two Hundos for Palkia. I'm not too sure about it, but I got a Shundo for Palkia for sure. And it just doesn't have the move, but it's still okay. Like, honestly, Drake Media still has even some play as well because you do more damage than the other move, Spatial Rent. So yeah, here we're going to be able to actually win the battle real quick, and we can move on to the next opponent. This is a very neutral matchup. Zamazenta might seem to be like a Pokemon that gonna be a bit difficult because they have Fire type against Steel type Pokemon, but at the end of the day, they have a fast move that's, resisted from us. They have a charge move that's super effective but non-stab, so it's all okay here. It's not the best matchup ever, don't get me wrong, but it's not a bad matchup either. And as we will see here, we're either gonna get the KO here, or we're gonna get 2 shields, and we're gonna get 2 shields, which I'm totally fine with. I'm not going to use the shield here at all, because the opponent is still gonna be forced to go for another charge move here, which is quite lovely. As we all see the crunch coming through, going to knock us out. They have another charge move stored, but I should be able to get some energy on my Palkia. And energy on Palkia is ridiculously overpowered, because what we can do here is we're going to be able to just go up to basically a Draco Media soon for whatever wants to come in next against us, and that is kind of what we want to have here. We're going to have, I think the Dialga just came in. We're going to go for the Draco Media. We're going to do a ton of damage against them. And in comes the Kyogre. It is still not over here, but it's looking really good for us. Now we can go for a Stone Edge, hard-hitting move. And we are looking to be basically in a position here right now where we're going to be able to just go for some Brutal Swings, going to get some damage onto them, and I think we're just going to be able to win it just with our Conkeldurr, which is kind of hilarious. They're forced to go for a charge move here. They have 1 HP left. I have my shield still there. I still have my Palkia. I know they have still the Dialga with like a few HP, but I think it's going to be fine. Yeah, we should be able to farm them down, and they're going to forfeit here basically anyway. So next up, hopefully we're going to be able to bait out some Fairy-type Pokemon. In comes Yveltal, in comes Mewtwo. That is okay though, because we're actually going to outspeed them to the Brutal Swing. I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to win this in the 2-shit scenario though. Doesn't look like it. It just doesn't look like it. But what we can do here is, we can get some shields. And I think that might be the better play for us to get some shields, because I think the matchups are better for us in the 0-shield scenario than in the 2-shield scenario. And so Brutal Swing is coming through. And at this point, I should have just let the move go through so I can get some farm down with the other Necrozma, but it's okay. They're going to swap out into the Ho-Oh. I don't think that they're going to expect that I have a Stone Edge here. So I'm going to go for it, and I make a big mistake. I gave the opponent a free fast move, and that is causing me to basically lose the battle, because now all of a sudden they should be able to outspeed me here to the next move, which would have not been the case otherwise. And so I should have been able to go to the Aqua Tail, but actually I still get there, because I went for a return. I don't know why they're on return on their Ho-Oh. Return, by the way, doesn't really make too much sense on the Ho-Oh. Like, I thought about the same thing as well after we got the Shadow version of it, after I got one that would have got to be a Hundo, I think, from return, like using a return on this, but it just doesn't really make too much sense from what I have seen so far. They're running Snarl on their Yveltal, which is great for us here, because we're actually going to be able to survive the hits, and I can still go for a Sunsteel Strike. We just have to hope that we're going to put them into a position where we can still knock them out with our Conkeldurr. I should have stayed in, actually. I should have stayed in. I think there was a mistake of swapping out here, because now they can knock me out, but I would have been able to even get the farm down here as well. I don't know. Either they would have fully farmed me down. I don't know. I don't know which one would have been better there. I could almost risk it and just stayed in there. Anyway, next opponent, we're going to have Palkia against us. That is going to be a very neutral matchup. It's a matchup where we're going to go for Dark Pulse. That's the thing as well with the Necrozma does Rain Form. I'm honestly not too sure what kind of moveset is the ideal one. But because like they have so much options. You have Iron Head, which actually has some play over Sunsteel Strike because of the pacing that you have. And a lot of times, I don't know, Sunsteel Strike can be a little bit of an overkill. You have the Outrage, which is going to allow you to have a better play against those Dragon-type Pokemon. And then, of course, you have the standard moves that you currently see on the screen as well. I don't think they have anything else that's going to be way better. But yeah, also you'll see here, we're going to have the Landorus against us. It's going to be okay. Since the Storm is coming in, we are going to be able to go for another Brutal Swing against the opponent. This should allow us to get some nice damage on them. And we can now hopefully go for the full farm down against the opponent. Let's see on how that's going to go. It's going to be Sunsteel Storm coming in again. We're going to go ahead, go for the farm down there. And in comes the Palkia from the opponent. We're going to use a shield here. It is going to be the Spatial Rent. Luckily, we were able to shield this one up. And they're going to have their own Necrozma on the back. This game is not over yet, but it's going to be a bit tricky to deal with the opponent's Necrozma. I'm going to overfarm by quite a bit here. And we can go ahead and go for another Aqua Tail. This is going to allow us to do some solo damage. We're going to let the move go through. And I am going to use the shield here, just in case that they have Outrage here, which they do have. It's going to be a bit tricky. I'm forced to go for an Aqua Tail here. I think I do lose the CMP die, as far as I know. But as we will see here, Aqua Tail is going to get the shield. We swap out of here, and we can go for the full farm down in time, which means we should be able to win the battle as the Palkia goes down. Crocodile. That is not what I expected, and that's a hard wall to our lead, as we're going to encounter the Golisopod up against our Conkeldurr. What an interesting team here from the opponent. Really trying to do some spicy stuff here. But I don't know, like that's the thing as well, like they are so memeing here at this point. that I'm not too worried, even though we're in a very bad position because we're kind of getting walled here. I am going to go for the Stone Edge here, which is going to allow us to get the shield. Should have went for it straight away, would have got the KO straight away, which would have been great for me. But as we will see here, the opponent is going to be able to get the KO there. We're going to swap out into the Necrozma, trying to get as much energy as possible. Because if we're going to get the energy here, we're going to get up to a Sunsteel Strike, which is going to knock out the other Pokemon anyway that the opponent has. So we should be in a very solid spot. As you will see, we're going to be able to go for the swap into the Palkia, try to get some energy here, as the Crocodile doesn't want to face this one, and they're going to have in the back the Magnezone, which is okay for us. I am not too worried about this one at all, and we can just go ahead, go for another Awkward here, and this is going to allow us to get them kind of low. We can use some shields here, but I should just be able to go for the full farm down, get a ton of energy, get enough energy to go for Awkward Tail against the Crocodile, get the shield, still have the Sunsteel Strike, and with that we should be able to win the battle, so I'm not too worried about it. And this is the thing as well, that's the awkward thing about running Spice. And it's not like in the main series games where you have like a lot of play in terms of like what kind of Pokemon you want to play, what kind of like weird strategies you want to do. For Pokemon Go, it's mainly about stats and moves, and like they're just, yeah, not as great as the other ones, so it's not as easy to play some Spice, but still I respect it and good game to the opponent. Zacian against us, that is going to be okay, because what we can do is we can go ahead and go for the Sunsteel Strike. This is going to allow us to get the shield, of course. I should went for the bait, because of course they're going to use the shield. It was kind of silly for me to not go for the bait there. They're going to go for the Wild Charge, and I can swap out of here now into my Conkeldurr, doing a lot of fast move pressure, which allows us actually to put them into a range where our other Pokemon is going to be able to knock them out with one Awkward Tail, our Palkia. So that's going to be great for me. In comes the Necrozma, and as said before as well, Conkeldurr has great coverage against the current meta, as Brutal Swing is going to come in here. We're going to be able to use a shield as well, and we should be able to get to another move afterwards, knock them out. Iron Head is coming through, that's a bit annoying. As said before, Iron Head actually has some play against Sunsteel Strike, mainly because of the pacing. Brutal Swing is going to get the KO, and let's see what is coming in next. Is maybe even going to be the Fairy type again. It is going to be the Fairy type again. Zacian is coming in, we're going to go for a no shield. It is going to be the Wild Charge again. We still survive this one. They swap on into the Dialga. At this stage, we have to either get the shield or the damage onto them, and I think damage is what I'm gonna try to aim for. It's gonna be a very difficult battle to still win. We got the damage in with the Sunsteel Strike, which does more damage than the Dark Pulse as far as I am aware. And so we're gonna use a shield here against the Iron Head again from the opponent. We're forced to go for the full farm and hope that it does work out. It does work out. We get a ton of energy here now, but we have to go for 2 Awkward Tails, which I think we're gonna be able to do. And so we were able to maneuver around it after having a pretty neutral lead, to be fair. And then kind of still playing around a bit with the Conkeldurr, we were able to win this battle, and we can move on to the final one for today. Palkia against our Necrozma. It's going to be a very neutral matchup. The opponent has Dragon Breath. Well, it's resisted still chunks a bit from this Pokemon, so I'm not saying that this really is going to be a great matchup for me at all. But they go into the hole, and you might think, oh, they caught the move. What is more annoying is that they actually got the free fast move in, which I didn't even see at all, and I was like, why did they get to the Brave Bird that fast? But I'm going to try my best to go for the full farm now, which does work out beautifully. And with this, we should be in a very solid position. I decided to use a shield here, which is a bit silly. I think they were not at a spatial... Oh, they were at a spatial rant. And so I'm going to be forced to go for the Awkward Tail here, though, because I don't have spatial rant myself. And try to go for the bait here, which does not work out at all. And so I'm gonna go for another Awkward Tail. Please gonna use a shield here. That would be lovely. Maybe they watch my videos and they know that I don't have Spatial Rent. Could be the case. They have then the Necrozma on the back, and that is going to be a very tough battle to still win here. Awkward Tail is gonna connect here though, which is kinda cool. I can still go for the Dark Pulse in time for sure. And so this should be hopefully getting the shield from them. Very likely gonna get the shield from them. And now it's down to Conkeldurr. Can Conkeldurr win the battle for us? Let's find out. They're very likely gonna have Sunsteel Strike, which is gonna be very difficult for us to deal with. I should wait out the clock, which I don't, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I would have not been able to swap out before they can go for another charge move anyway, so actually not swapping out, like not waiting out the clock here doesn't really matter that much. I guess maybe I would have been able. Never mind. I am not aware on how fast the 50-second timer goes down. But yeah, it's now down to Palkia. Can we still win this battle? We can actually go for the charge move here. I think the opponent didn't expect me that I still reach this in time. And so, yeah, we're gonna be able to win the battle. As the opponent's Palkia goes down, we can now move on here, and this is gonna be it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. It was a fun one. I try my best to get Hooper, by the way, for later on, but I'm not too sure if I'm gonna get enough XL Alchemy from the raids that I can do here. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.